What's up everybody, this is Master EN Gamer. I was hoping I wouldn't have to make another video like this so soon, but of course, sadly, circumstances I believe have called for it. Yes, of course this video is a response to the recent allegations against Activision Blizzard and the drastic fallout that is now befalling them. I realize that this video is a bit late in that most people have already talked about this and the allegations came out over a week ago at the time of me recording this, or I guess about a week ago, around that time frame. But I'm only now making a video discussing it because I wanted to take some time to really think about Blizzard, think about their position, and my own position relative to them. And I'll get onto that in just a second, but first, I guess I should start out by saying, if you somehow aren't already familiar with the allegations which have been made against Blizzard at this point, there was evidently quite a few instances of sexual harassment, discrimination, workplace mistreatment, and other similar sort of disturbing workplace environment issues, should we say, going on within Blizzard over the past, well, several years from the sounds of it. I really don't care to go into any more depth in discussing the allegations specifically because a lot of them are quite disturbing and a number of people have already covered them to such an extent that if you really want to know more details, you can easily find a number of other people talking about them in more detail. And needless to say, I'm very sympathetic towards the people who were victims in all of this. I hope that going forward, we can have companies like Blizzard end up changing so that people don't have to suffer in the same sort of way. And for the people who are individually hurt by what transpired within the company, I certainly hope that they get more fair treatment going forward and are fairly compensated as need be based on their experiences. Focusing on Blizzard themselves specifically though, the reason I haven't talked about all this until just now is because I've been spending a lot of time thinking. A lot of time thinking about how Blizzard, it seems, time and time again, can't help but continue to screw up. As a content creator who is a huge fan of their products, specifically Overwatch, it is very frustrating to have to be linked to a company such as Blizzard who can't help but continue to fail. These latest allegations are only the most recent of tons of failures they've had over the past few years, and honestly, I can't even think of the last time Blizzard had good press about their company. Sure, people get excited when something new happens with one of their IPs, like new content release, not for Overwatch, of course, but for one of their other games, like Warcraft or Diablo or whatever. There's a lot of good news in that regard, but all you ever hear about the company themselves and their standing within the gaming community and the general public is that they're getting worse and worse. More and more notable people are leaving, which culminated, in my opinion, with the departure of Jeff Kaplan a few months ago. And since then, I've felt less than optimistic about Blizzard as a whole, but also the Overwatch franchise going forward, which is why, over this past week, I've been contemplating whether I want to continue producing Overwatch content. Certainly, I don't want to help support a company that is so irresponsible with how they treat their immediate employees and the way that they have people managed internally. But also I worry that it reflects poorly on myself as a content creator and individual for me to create content on such a despicable company. You know, a funny realization which came to me during all this, not funny haha, but like funny in a sad way. If you look at something like the recent incident with Sinatra and all the controversies surrounding him and the allegations against him, and the way Blizzard responded to that by not only severing his connections to the in-game Zarya skin, but also evidently abandoning any direct connections to other Overwatch players or content creators in the community in a way to distance themselves with any individuals who might, at some point in the future, end up being controversial. That's why Blizzard announced that there will no longer be MVP Overwatch League skins produced, and is also almost certainly the reason we haven't seen any individual Overwatch League players or content creators featured in the Battle.net launcher. For those of you who have been playing Blizzard games on PC for a long time, I'm sure you remember how Blizzard used to always feature, oh, this cool highlight highlight from this one streamer, or hey, check out this cool MVP player and this highlight from this one match. Blizzard doesn't do that anymore, and presumably, as I said, it's because they don't want to risk being directly associated with someone who ends up being controversial in the future. Well, ironically, now we're in a position where content creators like myself don't want to be associated with Blizzard because of Blizzard's controversial actions. That's just a little side note which stuck out to me, and I think it was hilariously ironic, should I say, just how Blizzard is so paranoid about the people they associate with becoming controversial, only for themselves to become so controversial that now those same people are the ones who don't want to be associated with Blizzard. But I digress. The point being is that Blizzard, at this point, has become a company which no longer do I just not like them, but at this point I think it's safe to say that, to at least some extent, I despise them. The Overwatch team, specifically, I am still a fan of, based on the allegations which have come out against Blizzard. It sounds like, thankfully, the Overwatch team has been much better than the standard we seem to have for the rest of the people working at Blizzard and Activision as well. So at least that's somewhat comforting to consider, given that I am pretty much exclusively an Overwatch creator and I don't really cover any of Blizzard's other IPs. And it was specifically the thought of the different teams within Blizzard and how some are clearly better than others, which is what led me to reach my final decision regarding how I'm going to handle my channel going forward, which is that I've decided I will, in fact, continue to cover Overwatch content because at the end of the day, I still just love the game. In my mind, I've always been capable of separating a creation from its creator. If we look over the course of history, there have been countless amazing creations that were produced by horrible people. And I don't think it's fair to take a genuinely good product or creation or discovery of whatever sorts and just wipe it away because the person who happened to find it or create it or come up with the idea for it happened to be a terrible person or a group of terrible people. And so, to that extent, for the time being at least, I will continue to play Overwatch. I will continue to produce videos on Overwatch because the game itself is good. Even if some of the people who made it, or even people just associated with the people who made it, happen to be terrible, despicable individuals, it doesn't change the fact that the product is good, at least in my opinion. Certainly, I know there are a lot of people who don't enjoy Overwatch at this point, and that's fine. But for me personally, I think Overwatch is a good product, and I am going to continue to play it and enjoy it, not only because it brings me satisfaction to be able to play something I love, but also because of all the good, hardworking, decent people in Blizzard who helped to produce Overwatch that have nothing to do with the despicable allegations and the horrible people who are also present in that company. For every evil monster within Blizzard, there are 100 unseen, hardworking, good people who just are passionate about whatever project it is they're working on and want to produce something for others to enjoy. And for me to just outright ditch Overwatch and abandon it entirely because it's associated with Blizzard is horrifically disrespectful to those hardworking people. Just think about the brand new deathmatch map, which was supposed to release last week, but was at the very last second canceled because of these allegations. Think about how many people worked on that map. The people who designed the architecture and the map layout and the assets and the visuals and the audio and whatever else went into the development of that map. I'm going to assume that the vast majority of the people who worked on it were good, hardworking Blizzard employees who just wanted to make a cool new map for the game. But now that it was accidentally leaked and we know that it was supposed to release last week, only for it to be delayed until who knows when, to be honest, at this point, all because of these allegations, people will now forever associate that map with the horrible allegations made against Blizzard. Because that's just how these things work. Because that map was delayed because of the allegations, people are always now going to remember that. All those hardworking Blizzard employees who worked together to produce that new content for Overwatch, the first substantial new content for Overwatch in the better part of a year, mind you, all their hard work is now marred by these other terrible people who the people who made the map might not even know these other horrible people within the company, but their work has been smeared because of these other individuals. And for us all to just say, Overwatch is terrible, we should never play Overwatch again because there are a few bad eggs in the basket, is insulting and disrespectful to the employees who are good people and are making good content and are treating their coworkers with basic respect. So, because of that, as I said, I will continue to produce Overwatch content, and if you don't want to watch my videos anymore because you now have a newfound and, to be honest, justified hatred for Blizzard, then that's fine. You don't have to keep watching my videos. But just know that when I make new content in the future covering the latest set of skins for the latest event, or some other new map later down the line, or whenever Malavento actually ends up releasing, which probably won't be for a while considering the severity of the recent events, just know that I'm not doing it to show my support for the bad people within Blizzard, but I'm doing it to show my support for the good ones, who, for all we know, are by far the vast majority of individuals within the company, and specifically the Overwatch team. But, that being said, I'm also making this decision based on the fact that Blizzard, in the long run, will need to change. Now that all these allegations have been brought to light, Blizzard has to remove these bad actors within the company. The managers can't just keep sweeping it under the rug anymore because the cat's out of the bag. And they gotta fix their company, because if they don't, it won't matter whether or not I want to keep playing Overwatch, their company's gonna go under. If they can't fix themselves following these allegations which have come out, then eventually I will no longer be playing Overwatch, because there probably won't be an Overwatch to play at that point. But I guess that's the bulk of everything I really felt like I had to say regarding this issue, at least for the time being. Again, I certainly hope that all the people responsible in these allegations are held accountable for the horrific things they've done. And again, my sympathies go out to the people who were hurt in these allegations, regardless of how severe or minuscule it might have been. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly with a basic level of human respect. And it is disappointing that we see companies like Blizzard failing at even just this. But also, don't forget about the people who are at the company and are just trying to do an honest, good, hard day's work and create a product that people will love and play for years to come. We just gotta be careful going forward that we don't end up criminalizing people who were innocent in all this and just happened to be there and maybe weren't even aware of what was going on around them. And with that, I guess that'll wrap up this video. I apologize if this is, for whatever reason, the first video of mine you've ever seen, because this is very different from the usual type of content I put out. I'm usually not this serious about things. I try to be much more lighthearted, generally. But if you're like me and you think that you can still enjoy playing Overwatch for the game it is, then definitely consider subscribing, I suppose, because I will be producing more Overwatch content going forward, and it'll be a lot more jovial than anything I discussed in this video. Other than that, I'd like to thank my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you're interested in joining them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, though, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, I hope the weeks ahead are better than this past one. So, if you can, have a great day.